Hi, I'm Tally, and today I am torturing myself by playing Doom Eternal with only shotguns. This might sound like the only reasonable way to play Doom, but you'd be shocked to learn the game is actually balanced around using a whole bunch of toys at once to be able to handle different threats and challenges. Speaking of, the challenge is as follows. I can only use the combat shotgun or super shotgun from the arsenal of weapons. Melee and glory kills are okay, since I'd lose the challenge very quickly without the chainsaw. The grenade launcher and flame belch are also okay. Difficulty wise, I'm playing on ultra violence because I don't hate myself enough to do it on nightmare, and no crucible. That's it really. If you've got a problem, leave it in the comments, and if you don't have a problem, comment something too. It's apparently very good for the algorithm. And like and subscribe and all that. Let's dive in. Hell on Earth starts with 3 bozos standing around as target practice. Once they're done for, I give this glowy dude a little kiss and fetch my chainsaw and decide it's time to get sticky. Coming into this first arena, I took a little bit of time to warm up. Before this challenge, I haven't actually touched Doom Eternal in about 6 months. All the same though, the room was just absolutely zero challenge. If it was, I wouldn't be posting this video because I'd be so ashamed of myself. This limp noodle over here gives me a little bit of head. Next, I fight one of my worst nightmares. I do mean it. It's a giant spider made of brain wrinkles. No, I'm okay, thanks. Keep that the hell away from me. And now that umbral horror is out the way, it's time to take on another one. And following that, it's time to hop, skip and jump through the subway to pick up every young man's best friend, a grenade launcher. And it's roughly around here that I realise the challenge isn't going to be kind to me. I bite the dust twice in the space of 5 minutes, and the voice in the back of my head says, "Get good, kid." So that's exactly what I do. The voice of Patches O'Houlihan called out to me to dodge, duck, dip, dive and dodge, and I made it through the room with almost zero effort. Thanks for that one, Patches. And finally, it's time to wrap up the level by jumping out of a window, squashing another spider and a good few of his friends, and diving into definitely not an evil portal. Anyway, after that the Doomslayer gives some head and we head off into Exultia. Well, Exultia starts off pretty strong with a light brawl right off the bat, which introduces us to the new gargoyle enemies, which are absolutely gonna make my day 15% worse every time they show up. Then I hop over the living concussion machine and learn Blood Punch. While we're on the topic of upgrades, I also grab a rune that gives me better air movement, and then I stumble into a scuffle. My demonic friends here were playing in the pool and didn't like me taking up any of their space. Also, while we're on the topic of upgrades, I also get dash. This lets me run away from my problems 18% faster. And while we're on the topic of problems, this room is full of bad guys again. I literally spent like 5 minutes cleaning out this place. Next on my to-do list is pop into hell. I'm not sure why, to be honest. I want to say something about getting milk. Oh, I'm out of batteries. Yeah, sure, we're going to hell for batteries. And hellish it is. The combat shotgun is doing alright for itself, but I definitely do miss the rifle. Hell, even a laser rifle would have been nice here, but I've dug my grave, so I'll live in it. I do wish I had other guns. Not for this shot though. Boom, nailed it. And finally, we've got a little gauntlet where the game introduces a power up. I'm not going to use it though, because that's easy. Too easy. And I do want easy, but not that easy. And before I can move into the next level, the game wants us to take a trip to the Repertorium. What's the Repertorium, you ask? Well, the game's been out for 3 years. How do you not already know this? Anyway, it's effectively a training area filled to the brim with demons to blow apart. Because that's what you want after a long day of travelling the universe slaying demons. More demons. Speaking of more demons, let's head into the Cultist base. This level takes no time at all getting to the action, and I am here for it. It's actually not normal how much dopamine this gives me, but I'll take it because I just have not felt happy in forever. One of the fun things that this level has is these cool sections where you get to use random wall scythes to cut up enemies. Why do they exist? Like, who put these here? Was it the demons? Unfortunately, the game forces me to pick up the rocket launcher, which I guarantee is going to ruin the run at some point. However, until that point, I'm going to put it in my back pocket and I'm going to ignore it. Now, I don't know if I've actually told you this, but this level is really heavy on combat, and that's saying a lot for a Doom level. Roughly every 5 feet I wander into another fight, until I wander into one of my night terrors. This arena I like to call the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet is just like never fun to me. It's just always excruciating, and it is the start of the downward spiral. That is the rest of the video. Now you might think I'm being melodramatic, and to an extent I am. However, I'm really not. Everything goes darkly downhill. Like the rest of the run does not get more fun than this. Except when it does. Or it might not. And part of what makes this really frustrating is that the game expects you to have a small arsenal by now to pick apart enemies. In the regular game this isn't a hard fight, but just having the combat shotgun makes it a tough fight. And in some games that would be the end of the level. For me though, I have a whole 60% of a level to finish. So back to the chaos we go, apparently, and now we're fighting in a small chamber with what appears to be spikes on the walls and blood on the floors. I tell you what I do love though, the shotgun, having a great time. How did I get the super shotgun, you ask? Well, that's the thing, it does cause me a lot of shame. I had to not use a shotgun. I had to mind control a demon whose only attack is rockets. So I guess you can't beat Doom Eternal with only shotguns? That asshole can't. I can. To give you the lowdown, the super shotgun is a double-barreled beast with a grappling hook attached. Guess where that hook goes? If you said inside people, you would be correct. It's time to show off what this bad boy does by immediately diving into the final fight of the level and dishing out injuries left, right and centre. Speaking of injury though, I get some insult and injury. I accidentally kill a mancubus with the rocket launcher. Remember earlier when I said it was going to come back to bite me? However, since the video isn't done yet, you can obviously tell that I got the groove back at one point and went on an absolute rampage. Now I'm straight back to the dopamine thing. I love this game when it gets going. Unfortunately, I spend about 5% of the time going and the other 95% gone. But we do get to hop on the Hogwarts Express to head over to the next level. Alright, the Doom Hunter base is pretty straightforward. The level's more about how you move on the level rather than fighting, but it does open with a doozy of a train fight, and everyone knows that fights on top of a train are roughly 80% cooler than any other fight.
All I want is to fight on the top of a train! Is that too much to ask? The good news is now I'm furious.
And once I get off the Hogwarts Express, I thought I'd walk into a place of wonder and magic, but actually it's just an absolute shithole, which actually does kind of give Hogwarts vibes. I expected a sorting hat, and I was actually met with yet more violence. This arena is oddly fun for me. I'm really not sure how or why, but it's just kind of cool, you know? I will be real with you, the rest of the level is actually just very uneventful, so I'm going to skip it. But I did get a little worried when I walked up to this door and there was a random assortment of ammo and healing. And I was right to be suspicious. It's a goddamn boss fight. The Doom Hunter here is an abomination of which I've never seen before. And this is considering I've laid my eyes on Mancubussy. Oh, that sounds absolutely dreadful. Please God, wipe that image from my mind. This fight, not exactly hard though. Some okay movement and the combat shotty do some genuine work here. So it wasn't quick, but I'm more than happy to say that I beat him without really any effort. And I can't think of anything more that the level could throw at me. Oh good God, there's two of them.
Oh shit, not good.
Now this is where my patience for the level runs out because it kicked my ass. The Doom Hunters dragged their lack of balls all over my face. Should I have said their treads? I don't know man, but they dragged something on top of me and then they dragged me all over the place, right underneath them. I wish I could say something funnier, but I just discovered my innate ability to destroy these two losers. It was awoken through pure rage. Now I do feel like the Doom Hunter. I took the kiddie gloves off and shoved my super shotty where they go potty. Fuck's sake, I suppose that's their treads too. Anyway, they're dead now. Well, it turns out there's a super mega Mancubussy somewhere in Central Europe. So in order to save the rest of the world from that horror, I decided to show it my super shotgun. I must have been salty after the whole tank treads thing because I can feel how little I was messing around in these clips. For some enemies, that means I'm just absolutely shredding up bad guys and ruining their day as fast as I can. But then there's this pinky, who I just completely ignore. I do go back to murder mode in the next arena though, so that's always fun. I'll let you know what isn't fun though. The bloody teleport room. It's like some sort of Pokemon puzzle, and I have never made it past Silph Co in Pokemon. Back to the action though, it's time to take on my favourite area of the map, the bit where I died a lot. One benefit I found is that I could farm some arachnotrons for the sticky shotgun mod, because I would die and go back to the start of the fight, but the mastery challenge progress would stay. Now eventually, I made it when the rage of the Doomslayer himself entered my body, and I tried to blow up the Super Mega Mancubussy, but it appears to only have turned it on a little, which is so much more upsetting. In order to cheer myself up, I play in the sewers a little so that I can get all of that gunk and goop in my skin, but while I was there, I accidentally found 2 keys that I need to progress in the level, so that's a win-win. And to top off the adventure, I end up right back at my favourite spot, the spot where I died a lot. But since my coffee finally kicked in, I got through the fight with barely a scratch on me. I had to double check because I'm sure I died. But no, apparently I made it through in one go. By winning that though, I now have access to the second power switch to take down the Super Mega Ultra Wing Dragon of Ra Mancubussy. And now it's dead, so on to the Arc Complex. And I tell you right now, my therapist says I have a complex, not an Arc one though. Inferiority. The Arc Complex might be my favourite level. That may just be because the track for the level is the only thing they fear is you, which I will admit is like the most obvious answer ever. It's the vanilla ice cream of the Doom soundtrack, but by God it just gets me every single time. Anyway, in this level we start off by making our way down a set of office buildings, carving our way through hordes of demons and convenient holes in the floor, until you hit what's effectively the end of the level, or it would be if the doors weren't locked. So back up another set of buildings we go. Since the Doom guy has legs made of mithril, he runs up the stairs with less than 0 problems, and then it's time to go absolutely psycho mode on these idiots who stand between me and my beloved Assassin's Creed cosplaying. And after a hectic encounter with a healthy amount of combat shotgun splatter, it's time to do some Assassin's Creed cosplaying. So I'll do some building hopping. Now that I've completed my daily dose of hardcore parkour, it's time to continue the Appetite for Destruction tour. Wait, what? Someone already took Appetite for Destruction? Well, we'll call it the Hungry for Explosions tour. How about that? Anyway, for our efforts in the middle of Nakatomi Plaza, we're rewarded with... Stairs? No! On the bright side though, God decides to end my life here and now by having the floor collapse underneath me. Sadly though, I broke through the universe and turned the floor into my bitch. Since I'm still alive though, I choose to make it everybody else's problem, and when I was given a choice to take the easy route, where I use the punchy power up that one-shots everything, or the hard route, where every enemy dies to me as I am, I chose violence. I chose not to take the punchy power up. It makes it too easy. I really had to earn this. And earn it I did, and now that it's over I get to keep waging my one-man war against tentacle porn. If you want to join the war effort, you do have to drop a comment. If you want to fight against the war effort, you got to drop a like. And as I push onto the second cannon, I get dragged into maybe my favourite fight of the level. I don't really know what it is, I just like the vibe. You'll have to figure out what the vibe is though, I can't explain it. And then I get to play in the sewer a little bit, because you know how much I love playing in sewage. Even more than that though, I love killing tentacles. Now that the door's open, I hit him with my final set of Assassin's Creed moves and move straight into a boss fight. Yeah, this guy isn't that bad. His gimmick is that he dodges or guards all of your attacks except when his eyes glow green, which is your small window of opportunity to counter. And if you land a hit, he'll stagger for a bit and let you deal some more damage. Rinse and repeat this and you have your boss fight. And I'm sure you've guessed it by now. If you haven't, this isn't the last time we'll be up against this loser. And Mars Core might also be one of my favourite levels. I just think it's cool. Now, I will be real with you. Despite throwing a pretty healthy amount of heavy demons at me, I'm just not really fazed by this level very much. By this point I've started to get used to how to handle just combat with a shotgun, such as the combat shotgun. Don't really think about what I'm doing as much, I just kinda do it. It's like Ultra Instinct, but it's shit. Right up until the BFG room though. Right here the game spawns a bunch of Satan's testicles to humble me real quick. So in order to handle this room, I had to try and chain a bunch of glory kills together with the combat shotgun's grenade launcher. Then from there, I do a little bit of space hopping, some violence, some space hopping, some violence, and then I commit some violence against the planet Mars itself, leaving off with a big old hellish arena to handle. By this point in the recording session, I was playing for like 4 hours straight, so I was well and truly warmed up, and this didn't take long at all. I did immediately get really embarrassed by the final set piece, by dying one more time right as I hit the portal. I didn't know that could happen, but I felt like it kinda undoes that whole I was warmed up thing. Anyway, the level's over, it's time for hell. I hate it. I hate it. I hate this fight. The very first time I played Doom Eternal, it beat my ass so far into the ground. It just really embarrassed me. And in my playthroughs since then, I have got better at the game, and I didn't really need more than one try for the other playthroughs, until today. This boss was just death after death after death after death. I'd get through the first stage just to die, then I'd make it to the jump rope section just to die. Then after I felt like forever, it finally went down. Oh my god, it took so long. It took so long. Actually, it took a whole 27 minutes, but it felt like hours. Fuck this guy. Fuck him so much. I hate you. Yep. Oh, man, that was pretty brutal. That was really brutal. But he deserved it. Now I'm taking his soul coin. Honestly, actually not that bad. Nah, actually, that last bit was a lie. I still hate this dude. I hate him so much. Do you know, I'm going to be real with you. Before I watched the footage for this level, I was actually going to start this with a joke like Taris Nabad, more like Taris not bad, but it was in fact actually really bad. Let me break it down. Well, the first Marauder beats me up and makes me explode, but I get him back, that's okay. And then the game introduces the Archvile, a demon that summons other demons. And on the first run I forgot he even existed, so by the time I got to him, it was too late. It was far too late. Second time round, he moved places, so by the time I made it to him, he'd already summoned more demons. Third time round though, I mushed him until he couldn't mush no more. Anyway, the next couple parts of the level weren't actually that bad at all. Can't say it was easy. I don't really want to say it was tough though. Right up until after I picked up the lightsaber though. I got my ass beat a couple of times in fact. There's not really too much to say about it though. I just got beat up. You know what they say though, third time lucky, and that stays true. I am incredible. And then the rest of the level was an absolute breeze. I fixed up my Super Saiyan Sith sword, and the level's done, right? Well, there is a final fight. It is the game trying to show you how to use the Crucible, and what you're supposed to do is run around and cause as much chaos as possible with the one-hit kill weapon. And when I say one-hit kill, I mean it. There's not a lot of bad guys that this bad boy just cannot cleave through. However, you might remember, I made it a rule that we wouldn't be using it. So once again I chose violence. But in order to choose violence I had to go really slow and calculated. I just had to keep moving, take a couple of shots, keep on moving, take a couple of shots, keep on moving. And I could do this forever. But I don't think you'll like that, so I will cut to the chase. I got it eventually, it just took forever, man. Nekroval is literally us just jumping into hell. I'm not sure if this is like the biblical hell, but it might actually be worse. I say that, but honestly, this might be one of my favourite levels. I just like the vibe a lot. Anyway, slight tangent aside, the first big fight against this dude and his merry men goes actually pretty well. I do almost bite the dust at one point, but thanks to the flying testicle, I can continue to bust it down sexual style and certainly not leave a dated joke in this video. Anyway, I break the big guy's face with a combat shotgun. Then, I fight a giant one-eyed monster, and I really didn't consider my word choice when I was scripting that. It's now just dawned on me exactly what that sounds like. Anyway, I don't know where it came from, but apparently it judges souls, and I actually have a tattoo across my back that says only God can judge me, and now he's dead. And the rest of the level kinda goes very much the same. It's just moving from arena to arena, busting bad guys and busting nuts. There's a Marauder at one point, and my last few interactions with them have given me a bit of a problem, but this guy was absolutely fine. And we have the final area of the level, which I personally think overstays its welcome. I'm sure that's because I was ignoring the giant flashing red swords indicating I should use the Crucible, but remember, That's not allowed. But the fight was really just long, and I can handle long. I can't really handle hard. And please don't even get me started on long and hard. So Nekroval has a part 2. I'm not quite sure why. I don't know why it's just not one big level. I'm sure there's bigger levels than the two of them combined, but I don't think it's questions that I really want the answer to today. I'm just distracting from the fact that very early on in this level, I go back to getting humbled. Some flying testicles really hurt my pride. And while we're hurting my pride, the blue room, I like to call it that because it's blue, does a pretty good job of hurting my feelings, because it starts off really easy, just some basic mooks, and any big guys that pop up get popped as quickly as they pop in. And then there was a marauder. Now earlier on you might remember I said I don't have problems with them anymore, that I shook the curse. I did not shake the curse. He killed me twice. Next on the Hungry for Explosions tour, it's time to climb the Tower of the Blind. Why is the tower blind? Because I went around poking all its eyes out, just like I did with the judge earlier. There's not a single set of eyes that are safe from me. Lastly, there's the portal to heaven. Well, I don't think it's heaven, but it's where, never mind. This last arena is your standard affair of huge gaping assholes. I don't know though, maybe it's the aesthetic or the particular choice of demons to rage on, but I also really like this fight. No, wait, it's definitely the two mega demons just vibing there that make me like this fight so much. I actually just like those guys so much, they're just like two little guys hanging out, you know, just holding chains with a homie. Anyway, back to the action. This fight feels good, it's like squeezing a spot. So I wrap up that chaos and send these little dudes home, and now it's time to visit heaven. Alright, I'm gonna be real, like God knows how long this video is at this point, and I feel like I'm in hell. So I'm gonna boil this map down to some basic components. Urdak is a pretty cool level, but it does have a pretty distinct pattern that goes woo, fight, 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 woo, fight, 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 fight. And I'll be real, I didn't really feel challenged. Like, the level definitely wasn't easy. I don't know why I'm saying I didn't feel challenged. I died a lot. Like, I'm just not showing you 15 minutes of me dying back to back to back, but I died a lot. And then there's also this dude. He's just staring at me menacingly. I ran out of ammo, so I can't do anything to him. I don't even have blood punch. And he can't swim, so just look at him. He's just being a little guy. He doesn't know how to swim. Finally, we have the can maker. And I thought this was going to be kind of hellish. And it was for 5 minutes. Then I realised this boss is actually really easy. And the combat shotgun with the 5 grenades to launch is actually really cracked. Aim for the baby cans' heads to turn them to ammo, and you've got yourself a pretty quick and painless fight. I mean, it wasn't painless for me, but you'll have no problems. I'm just not very good at games. Did you know the longer the icon of sin is on Earth, the more powerful it becomes? This will be really important later. Now personally, I think this first arena overstays its welcome as well, but all the same it's kinda cool. I like at this point everything is being thrown at you, including a kitchen sink. That one was tough to explain to the landlord. Okay, I'm gonna need you to listen to me. The next couple of fights upset me, man. I mean it. I'm not gonna pretend I'm good at the game, but if I did normal mode, everyone would make fun of me, so I did ultra violence. I regret it. I regret everything that led me to the position I'm currently in. I died so many times. I deleted roughly 30 minutes of footage because I just kept running out of ammo and I couldn't find fodder before someone sent me to the bad place. And I just crawled out of the bad place, man. I can't go back. You know me though, I am not one to give up. So as per usual, I ran face first into the tunnel painted on the wall a number of times until I finally made it through. I am done with this level. I made it through. I had some level of fun between 0 and 34.5%, and surely the icon of sin cannot be that bad. Remember when I said the longer the icon of sin stays on Earth, the more powerful it becomes? Turns out my consistent dicking around the streets of wherever the hell I've been repeatedly dying gave this huge idiot a long enough time to crank one out and have the post-nut clarity that led him to ruin my day for roughly half an hour. You might be wondering why it took me half an hour, because my DPS sucks ass and this asshole is a huge bullet sponge. It's not hard. This is actually the home stretch and it's easy. I swear it's easy. But I turned to look at something shiny and when I turned my head around I was dead. It happened twice. Eventually though, after like 6 years of just pumping this dude full of whatever the hell this launcher shoots, I made him run away back to his mum, the one that I killed earlier. Nah, turns out this guy has a second phase. And I say that like I didn't know it already. Maybe it's just cool to have a bit of suspense in the video, you know, get a bit of narrative going. Maybe this video is actually someone's first Doom Eternal experience ever. I hope not. That would be the worst first experience ever. Just in case you're wondering, I died about 5 times here too, because I would get distracted trying to get fodderized, and then I'd be dead. One time I was hit with a meteor. My parents always told me, don't worry about meteors, they can't hit you, and that just made me complacent. Anyway, the crux of these two fights is that you just shoot the body parts, and like in phase 1, they crumble off like they have armour, and in phase 2, it's flesh and bone, and that's kinda messed up though. I don't particularly know how the body parts contribute to his health bar overall. I swear at one point I had like shot 5 body parts off and he was still over half health, so I don't really know what that is. And in stage 2, there's way more enemies to deal with, which was just a supreme pain in my ass. I also don't like how much the game is taunting me, knowing that I can't kill anything with the Crucible. So a bit of time goes by, and I keep grinding away, and by a bit of time I mean roughly 8 minutes of running in circles, taking some pop shots here and there, and I get the better of him. I get the better of what I'm assuming is the literal devil given shape by all of my darkest nightmares. But then everything goes wildly, wildly wrong. Think back to one of the first things I said in this video, and no Crucible. Well, I guess I can't beat Doom Eternal shotgun only. It's a pain in my ass and I wouldn't dare to do the DLCs. Anyway, if there's anything I've learned from this video is that hell is real and I am living it every single day. But you can in fact actually complete Doom Eternal with shotguns only. As always, you've been amazing, I've been Tally, I will catch you all later, bye.